Burb. Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade. That's right, we're playing Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade with a Rise Heart running around, and the reason for this is because, honestly, this deck's really cool, and I do thoroughly enjoy Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc. Also, I had a few people asking me to actually play this deck again, just to see what it would do in the new meta. And honestly, here's the list that I ended up on, but not the list that I played. And the reason for that is because I took out a Max C for a 1-for-1. That was it. That was the only thing that changed. Everything else is the same. So there you go. 1-for-1 just adds a little bit of consistency, and I never felt like Max C was all that worth it, mostly because it never resolved, but more importantly because most of the time it was almost more advantageous to draw things like Ash Blossom to out Max C to additionally just play through the opponent's hand, or Imperm. And Imperm is a godsend to this format. It's so incredibly good. Yes, Pearly can specifically play around it with with the field spell, but all in all, it's still insanely good. And even if Pearly does get to play around it with the field spell, you can Imperm on their turn if you need to. So there's still options available to you. But yeah, let's just quickly go through the card by card and the explanation. Starting off with the Lyriluscs. 2 Cobalt Sparrow. For some reason, this card is still limited, and I have no idea why. Konami hates me personally. Moving on, we are playing 2 Sapphire Swallow. I cut this from 3 that I was originally playing, and the reason for this is very simple, but this card is a bit of a brick. You kind of need to see very specific cards for this card to be very, very good, but you can also search it to make it a lot better. However, I still wanted to see multiple of it through my lines, like going, you know, on my first turn as well as on my next turn, just to get me like additional access if I needed to. So it just felt like I needed 2 of it most of the time. We're playing the triple turquoise, triple barrel canary, and 1 celeste wagtail. As for our tri-brigades, obviously the triple nerval, pretty self-explanatory there. The 1 Karos, 1 kit, and 2 fractal. Again, Konami hates me personally, so of course fractal is still at 2. Now, to be fair, the only thing that I would change if I had 3 Fractal is cutting a Tenki. Now I know what you're saying, why would you do that? Fractal is a full combo in and of itself. Yes, however, somehow, some way, I personally consistently see Fractal and Tenki always in the same hand. And the thing is, you always ash the Fractal anyway, so it's like, it doesn't matter whether or not I have 2 or not, it's just gonna get stopped anyway. So it's not really that big of a deal for me, but if you see that you are not seeing Fractal as much, yeah, maybe play the Tenki. I always just ended up seeing multiple of these in the same hand. Sometimes I'd even see 3 of them, and I'm just like, okay, this is not worth it. So I cut down on it. Moving on to the rest of the cards in our deck that we can like search or utilize. We have the 1 DD Crow for a search target, an additional search target off of the recital. This is actually pretty nice in this format, given the fact that Pearly is so prevalent. You can like banish the Pearly the Pearly spell card that your opponent has that like they're targeting with a Pearl Lily or something along those lines. So that's pretty nice. On top of that, we have the 1 Apex Avian. And then of course we have the triple Bird Call. And that's basically it for the engine. As for non-engine, we're playing the 2 Maxi, the triple Ash, the 1 1-for-1, the 1 Herald of the Abyss, the 1 triple tack, 2 triple tactics thrust. This card's good, but we don't really have that many great targets besides like Herald of the Abyss going second. As for going first, the only thing that we're realistically setting is an Infip. That's it. Now, don't get me wrong, that's pretty good, but that's why we're only playing 2. Realistically, if we had a better target, yeah, we could play something like a Dimensional Barrier or a Daruma Karma Cannon, but honestly, I would never really want to do that because I just don't feel like it's worth it most of the time, especially since we're ending on Xyz. It doesn't seem great to play Dimensional Barrier to cut off my own Xyz. So, it's fine. You could honestly play this at like 1 as well if you wanted to. Because yeah, we don't really have that many great targets. But then of course we were playing the 2 Called By and the triple Infip. Pretty self-explanatory for this. Obviously we're playing 40 cards. I think that playing above 40 is a bit too bricky and too inconsistent. So I don't like playing 42, or more than 40 I should say. Just because this deck does really help from playing that 40 card list. Moving on, we are playing in the extra deck the one Utopic future as well as the one Utopic Draco future in order to slap our 2 Recital Starlings together and make a negate, which is pretty cool. Also, this is just like one of the best boss monsters. It's insane. So many decks have a problem with dealing with this. Do you know what doesn't though? Pearly. Anyway, moving on. We have the 2 Recital Starlings because, yeah, being able to get multiple searches is pretty strong. We have the 1 Assembled Nightingale as well as 1 Ensemble Blue. And then, of course, Downard and Zeus. That's basically it for our Xyz. Moving on to our non-Xyz, we have 1 Almirage. Almirage didn't come up all that often in the last time I played, but I know how important this card is. There are a lot of times where even just drawing like a Cobalt Sparrow and a Beryl Canary, you can just normal summon the Cobalt Sparrow, link off into Almirage, and then go Beryl Canary and get your full combo off of that, which is pretty nice, all things considered. So even if you can't go into like Link monsters, just having access to that Almirage is very, very strong. We then have, of course, the Double Dragon Lord's Oath for the Tri-Brigade stuff. We have 1 Ferrogy, we have 1 Samorg, we have 1 Access Code, which actually came up, and I did switch out the 2 Shuregs that I normally play and played an Access Code. The reason for the Access Code is because non-target destruction. With Mikanko running around, having access to this card in particular to deal with Mikanko boards specifically was very nice. There were a lot of times where I actually... there were a few times where I actually played up against Mikanko and was able to make the access code to actually help with breaking those boards. And then we have 1 Apollousa. Apollousa I never summon. It just never comes up. The idea is you summon it if like you're playing the Tri-Brigade half of your deck. But honestly, most of the time we're not doing that. I try my hardest to get into the Lyrilusc stuff, or if I am playing the Tri-Brigade stuff, I'm kind of just ending on a Samorg, and so I don't really need the Apollousa. So this could be like an Underworld Goddess. As I said, I don't really have a whole lot of outs to Pearly, except for like go first or hope that you can prevent them from getting into a Noir by like chaining things. But yeah, all things considered, I do think that the Apollousa could probably be something different. I don't really know what, so I just keep it as Apollousa for now. This could be Underworld Goddess, this could be the second Shureg, this could be a wide variety of things. But I still think it's pretty nice to have. On like an ideal board, you could be able to end on like an Apollousa as well as potentially an additional thing and the Samorg, which is kind of like what you want to go for. But honestly, I don't think Apollousa is great right now. It's not bad, but it's not great. So there you go. But yeah, let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going a second with the most going second hand that's ever gone second. Truly an incredible hand. I have 4 hand traps, by the way. So we're going to start off here with just, you know, the minigame. Minigame 1 from my opponent. My opponent is going to go for the starter, and I'm like, that's fine. They go for the blue, and I'm like, okay, I do probably have to negate this, so I'm gonna. So we negate the blue. They're going to Xyz into Gigantic, and I'm like, okay, yeah, obviously we're negating this one as well. And then they decide to link off into, I believe it's Elf. They go for the Elf here, activate the effect to grab back the blue, and then activate pitching Ronin Totem, and I go, huh? We're still playing the Ronin Totem? But yeah, they're going to go for the Dark Beckoning Beast, and luckily they only have the one, but alas, they did have Called By for my DD Crow. Cool. That hand for my opponent was very strong, and they ended on Spright, Elf, and Masquerena because I drew literally 4 hand traps. Quite wild. And I drew Celeste Wagtail, which is actually pretty good, because now we can grab the Turquoise Warbler. We're going to activate the effect of the Turquoise Warbler here to special summon the Celeste Wagtail. However, then my opponent decides to chain IP Masquerena and Elf. Now, first of all, horrible play. Just awful play. Because why would we do it like this? Unless we're going into Avermax. So I'm like, okay, even if we do go Avermax, I feel like, you know, you probably, I don't know. I don't think it's really that big of a deal, but I feel like, hey, you know, why not wait to see if I do something else? You probably have an Underworld Goddess in there. Weird play, but whatever. Out comes the Jet, and what? No, I'm Underworld Goddess. Huh. Now, if you didn't know, let me tell you. Turquoise Warbler can not only special summon itself, but it can special summon from grave and from hand. So, while Underworld Goddess would have technically stopped that, because they chose to link off my own monster, I now just get to make this for free? bringing it back, and then just normal summoning the Celeste Wagtail. I've already used Bird Call this turn, so it's not like I'm getting an additional Bird Call that's going to do anything. So I just go, cool, yeah, that's okay. Anyway, let me search out my Barrel Canary. I'm going to activate the effect of the Barrel Canary, to which they will negate, and I go, oh right, you have an effect. Well, I did a goof, but that's okay. I should be fine, as long as they don't draw... Okay, I do kind of have to see something very good here. So we'll see. Hopefully it's something good, and that's probably the best thing that it could have been. Cool. We're gonna go for Nerval here. We're gonna banish 2 and go for the Ancient Warrior's Oath, which then puts away the Underworld Goddess, and they drew the second called by, because of course they did. But that's fine. We still have lethal because we now get to activate the Bird Call, the Barrel Canary, and go for the Bird Call, and into the rest of it. So cool. Good game. Exciting. I should probably have stated with the skill level of my Spright opponent in that previous game that this is in fact in Master tier. This is not in like Gold. I'm in Master 2 right now, and I'm max level in the Duelist Cup. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, Max C, cool, fun, fair. Anyway. So we're gonna draw a card here, and we draw into Tenki, which is actually not that bad. They're gonna special summon back the Heart, and then they're going to go for the World Legacy Monstrosity, which is just not gonna happen. They go to the battle phase, and yeah, look, my starting hand was very bad, but we still have enough for Herald of the Abyss. They're gonna go for the Leviathan. That's totally okay. Give me as many draws as you want. They're also gonna go for the Har here, which is actually pretty cool, because they did activate the boss stage, and since they were able to then special summon, I ended up drawing a card, which gave them the Har, which then allowed them to get additional cards here. Now, that's fine, because they ended up activating the Har, because I drew a card off of the Har, which then ended up pitching my Nerval, which searched out the Fractal. Why did I search Fractal when I have a Tenki in my hand? Well, because this guy has a negate, but also because Fractal just has the highest stats. Like, I could grab Karos, but honestly, there's no point when Fractal could also get me to that Karos as well, while also being able to have the highest stats, while also being able to do a myriad of other things. So, there's that. We draw for Turn the Ash, and that is fantastic, because now I'm just going to negate the boss stage and prevent them from getting a whole bunch of tokens, and now I can actually go for the Herald of the Abyss. I call Fairy to get this guy off of the field, and he just tributes himself to go for the Jormungandr. Obviously, I'm going to go for the Maxi, because I want to draw a card, and I draw a Maxi, so sure. Now, this also triggers the Har. I'm like, that's totally fine, because we both draw a card, and then they also get to go for the boss stage anyway, but they didn't get an additional special summon, so yeah, yada yada. I pitched the Cobalt Sparrow because honestly, at this point, the game is over. Like, I have the Turquoise Warbler. It's fine, trust. They're going to go for the Ash, and I'm not going to Called by it, and I know what you're saying. Why would you not Called by that? Because I'm terrified of Maxi. If they have Maxi, I do lose, but also they have a Har in the grave, and I want to Called by the Har for their negate, which is exactly what I do. So yeah, we get to go and activate the Fractal, which we search off with the Tenki, and then we get to go and dump the Nerval off of Kit and search out the Karos. We're going to special summon the Turquoise to special summon the Cobalt. Cobalt will grab up the Sapphire Swallow, and then we can go for the Recital. Recital will activate its effect in order to grab up a Nerval. We're going to then special summon out said Nerval, and then just Xeon to Assembled, because I realized, oh right, I can just make Zeus here. So I don't know what I was doing with this guy, but it wasn't Zeus, and it was a mistake. Anyway, that's fine. We're going to attach another material to this Assembled so that we can deal a bit of damage. Now, here's where I go into Autopilot, and don't be like me. Don't turn into Autopilot. I go Downer, cool, and then I put Zeus in the extra monster zone. I had game so many times. This was so over in so many ways. I make the Zeus, I wipe the board, I normal summon a Fractal, because I haven't normal summoned, because I'm cool like that. I normal summon the Fractal, I get to special summon, I get to special summon the Karos, and then I get to do even more stuff off of that, and then I get to go for the Barrel Canary, and it's great, and it's fantastic. Instead, I decide to cut myself off of everything, and just make the Zeus in the extra monster zone, like a dingus. Don't be like me, that's fine. It's fine. I'm just going to go for the Ensemble Blue, because luckily we still have the Barrel Canary. We're also going to attach an additional material off of the Sapphire Swallows effect, and pass the turn. It's fine. We still have a Zeus effect, we still have 2 bounces, it's okay. They're going to go for the Vala, which I will promptly banish. It technically bounces, but I'm going to banish it because of the effect. They're going to go for the Mardell, to which I will also bounce to the hand, and then they're going to go and normal summon Lopter, to then special summon another Vala, which I'm just going to bounce, and Cool, now we just have to get 6,200 attack onto the field. Now, I draw DD Crow. This could be something. And here's why. So first things first, Karos. We're going to special summon the Karos here. And then we are going to link off the entire field for some Morph. Yes, goodbye Zeus, it's fine. Trust. We're going to go for the Fractal now, and we have lethal. Out comes Shureg. Cool. It's fine. Look, Zeus in the extra monster zone was always part of the plan. You can't say anything else. Because if you do, you'll be banned. Not true, but yeah, good game. Bit of a mistake there on my part, but it didn't really matter. Maxi is a cool card. Alright, so here we are going first, and I literally just ran out of replay, so I literally just played this game. So here we are going up first with a pretty decent hand, except for the Apex Avian. So we're going to start off with the Turquoise Warbler, and of course my opponent has the Maxi, to which I will activate my Called By because I am just better, and Dear Lanta Maxi is a terrible card. Yeah, but we do get to now play the game, so let's see what we can do with basically just these two monsters. We're going to grab the Recital Starling here, and we're going to activate the effect by detaching to grab up the Nerval. My opponent, sorry, we're going to go into the Faragite with that Nerval being normal summon to grab up Fractal. We're going to special summon the Fractal and then send it, banish 4, because we have exactly 4 in the grave, to go for the Shureg. Shureg happens to be a winged beast, which allows us to go into some more. We're then going to get the search effect of the Shureg, as well as the Faragite here, in order to cycle a card. So out comes the Nerval, and out comes Barrel Canary. Because guess what? We just hard drew into the Nerval. But we grab up the Barrel Canary off of the Shureg, which is why I went for this play, in order to then allow us to send Fractal to the grave to go for the Cobalt Sparrow. We're going to go and then special summon back the Cobalt Sparrow, locking us into Xyz, and then grab off of the Cobalt the Sapphire Swallow, which we haven't used this turn, we just special summoned it. We're going to boost up our Morph here in order to grab up, and then grab up a Celeste Wagtail. Celeste Wagtail will grab the Bird Call, and then we will Xyz into Ensemble Blue. The reason I go for the Ensemble Blue is because I wanted to make this guy, Utopic Future. So I'll go for the Utopic Future here, and then go for the Utopic Draco Future, and then we're going to go for the Bird Call, grabbing up the Barrel Canary, just because I know that they don't have an Ash, so I'm like, yeah, we'll end on this. So this is off of basically just 2 monsters. We have the Apex Avian, we have the Utopic Draco, and we have the Imperm. Seems pretty good. And then of course we have the Samorph as well, and then insane follow-up with the Nerval and the Barrel Canary. My opponent is on Mikanko, because of course they are. That's why they stayed in this game and did not immediately surrender. So out comes the Mikanko, the Ohime, because of course they drew it, and then they're pitching the Hu Li. They're going to activate the Quick Play Ritual, basically, and go for the Ohime, special summoning it. Then they're going to send to the graveyard another card. They send the Revive here, and I'm like, okay, obviously I have to negate that, otherwise I can't target you. So yeah, no, you're not getting another monster onto your side of the field, please and thank you. And out comes Triple Tech, and they decide to look at my hand and choose a card from among it to shuffle into the deck. I don't know why they don't take here. I feel like take is obviously the best option, but I guess you don't really take in Mikanko, so maybe draw 2 was probably better. I feel like take is, or look at the hand is just not worth it. But I guess they thought that maybe I had like an Ash Blossom or something like that. They just shuffle away the Barrel Canary, which is absolutely not the play, because if I play a second Shureg, or honestly just if I have like anything and they don't have access to a way to protect from targeting, Nerval absolutely slaughters them. And even if it doesn't, like, Nerval is still just very, very good advantage in and of itself. So I don't know why we go for the Barrel Canary there, especially since the Utopic is already on the field, but anyway, I go for the Imperm here, and my opponent realizes that this is basically the end of the game. They don't really have anything. That last card probably isn't anything, and they just scoop it out. I can also then special summon back my monster with the Apex Avian. They're not going to kill me, so cool. Basically, my whole idea there was, once I saw Mikanko, I was like, cool, I just need to make sure I do not die this turn, and I should be fine. And I was, so good game. And we're back with the deck, and yeah, this deck's pretty good. Yes, it does lose to the Kashitira cards, most notably a Rise Heart, but I mean, you could also just go first and then not lose to them. I know that sounds like counterintuitive, but honestly, there are a lot of things that you can do, even against the Kashitira archetype, to then beat them. Like, for example, if you end up drawing Turquoise Warbler, you could just, like, special summon it, not activate the effect, normal summon any other level 1, and then go into Zeus with the Assembled. You walk over, you go down, and you go Zeus, you wipe the field. They can't do anything. Cool. On top of that, Imperm exists. You could just Imperm the monster. You just hold your Imperm. Because, like, Imperming a unicorn could potentially end their turn, or it could not, depending. So you could either take that bet and be like, cool, I'm going to end your turn here, trust, or you could be like, cool, I'm going to hold this imperm for the Arise Heart on the following turn and just negate the Arise Heart so that my cards don't get banished, and you're probably not going to have much else for the rest of my hand. So there's that. Is it great against Kashitira? No, but it's good against basically every other deck. As you saw, like, it still performs exceptionally, especially going first. Yeah, being able to go first, or heck, third, like that second hand was, the deck still does quite a lot. It can play through quite a lot as well. It has a lot of non-engine pieces, as you can see here. And like, I prefer the hand traps, but you could play additional board breakers if you want. Like, for example, you don't even have to play Maxi or an Ash. But obviously Maxi is a massive issue for this deck, so maybe do play it. But like, yeah, like, there's a lot of options available for you. While I don't think that this is the best deck, I still think that this deck is almost always slept on when it comes to basically anything. I don't think it's like the most competitive. I don't think it's the best deck, but I do think that it is something that you could absolutely climb with, as I have. And yeah, there you go. That's basically all that I have to say. In terms of deck building, I don't know how much better this could get. Again, maybe the Apollosa could be something better, like for example an Underworld Goddess, so that you have an additional out to Pearly. That's kind of the only thing that I would really change. I think everything else basically is a 10 out of 10, which is not something I would say often, but I genuinely do believe that this is the best list, or one of the best lists, with a Rise Heart in the format. Now, obviously, if a Rise Heart isn't in the format, I think that throwing in specifically Droplet is probably better than things like Imperm, but because we do have to deal with a Rise Heart and Shifter and stuff like that, I do think that Droplet isn't nearly as good. But that's it for the list. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated, and if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.